She is strapped to a metal bed frame. Water drips onto her skin, slow, steady, meant to break her mind before it breaks her body. This is Joe McNamara, the strongest woman in the CIA's most dangerous program, and right now she cannot move. The trailer for Lioness Season 3 Episode 4 just dropped, and it is making fans ask one terrifying question: is this the episode where Joe dies? But before you jump to conclusions, you need to see what else this trailer is hiding, because there is a lot more going on than just one shocking image. Kaitlyn is about to make a move that could change everything. Joe's family is on the edge of falling apart, and there is still a traitor somewhere in this story that nobody has caught yet. Stay with me, because we are breaking down every clue, every theory, and every twist hidden inside this trailer. Who actually took Joe? This might be the biggest mystery hanging over the entire episode, and right now there are two main theories floating around, both of them equally believable. The first and most obvious answer is that Russian agents grabbed Joe as revenge. Remember, the leaked story claimed that a Russian operative had been caught and was blackmailing people on American soil. If Russian handlers felt exposed or humiliated by that leak, striking back at Joe, the person seen as responsible for exposing them would make complete sense. This would be classic retaliation, an eye for an eye in the spy world. But here is where things get interesting. There is a second theory that is honestly even scarier, because it suggests the danger might be coming from inside the United States, not from a foreign enemy. Earlier in the season, a character named Oleksandra revealed that she has information linking several sitting U.S. senators to compromising situations. If any of those senators caught wind of the leak and worried that their secrets were about to come out, they would have a very strong reason to want Joe silenced before she could expose them. In this version of events, Joe is not a victim of foreign spies at all. She is a victim of powerful people trying to protect themselves. This theory changes everything about how we should watch this episode. If it truly is Russian agents, then this is a foreign threat story, dangerous but somewhat expected given Joe's job. But if it turns out to be corrupt American officials, then the show is pointing its finger inward, suggesting that the real enemy has been sitting inside the government the whole time. That would be a much darker and more personal twist, and it would completely change how much anyone, even Kaitlyn or Byron, can actually be trusted moving forward. Right now, the show is deliberately keeping this answer hidden, and that uncertainty is exactly why fans cannot stop talking about it. Kaitlyn's next move. Kaitlyn Meade has never been the type of person to sit back and wait for things to happen. She is calculated, controlled, and willing to make hard choices that other people would be afraid to make. Her plan earlier in the season was described by fans as hunting mice by setting the barn on fire, meaning she was willing to cause a big, dangerous disruption just to flush out a small threat. That plan is exactly what led to this crisis, and now Kaitlyn has to deal with the consequences of her own aggressive strategy. Based on the direction the story is heading, Kaitlyn is likely to abandon official channels completely, with the possibility that compromised senators or corrupted parts of the government might be involved. Going through normal, approved procedures to find Joe becomes incredibly risky. If the threat truly does come from inside Washington, then following the rules could actually put Joe in more danger, not less. This means Kaitlyn may choose to go rogue, using unofficial methods, calling in favors, and possibly even breaking rules herself to get Joe back safely. This is also where Cruz and Kyle become extremely important. Fans expect them to lead an unauthorized rescue mission, working outside the system, using black market information and dangerous shortcuts to track down wherever Joe is being held. This kind of off-the-books operation fits perfectly with how the show has built tension in past seasons, mixing quiet political strategy with sudden bursts of raw action. At the same time, Kaitlyn's authority within the agency could be at serious risk. Her aggressive strategy is the reason Joe is missing in the first place, and if people above her start asking hard questions, she may have to fight to protect her own position while also trying to save Joe. This creates a fascinating double battle, Kaitlyn racing against time to rescue her agent, while also trying to protect her own career and reputation from collapsing around her. Is Oleksandra a traitor or a trap? One of the most unresolved mysteries in this entire season is the true loyalty of Oleksandra. During her interrogation earlier in the season, she gave a very convincing explanation for why she never betrayed Joe's identity to the Russians. Her argument was simple. Selling out Joe would have destroyed an entire operation she had spent years building inside Ukraine, so betraying her made no logical sense. Both Kyle and Cruz seemed to believe her story completely, but Joe remained suspicious, which led to a second, harsher round of questioning. This unresolved tension matters a lot heading into this episode. Oleksandra agreed to act as bait, helping the CIA identify hidden targets, but using a spy as bait is always a gamble. If she truly is loyal, then she becomes an incredibly valuable ally in figuring out who really took Joe. But if her cover was somehow blown by the leak, she may have panicked and made a desperate choice to protect herself, possibly by giving Joe up in exchange for her own safety and an escape out of the country. The genius of this storyline is that both explanations are still fully possible. Oleksandra could be an innocent asset who is now in just as much danger as Joe, caught in the middle of a very messy situation. Or she could be the missing piece that finally explains how Joe's location was discovered in the first place. This episode may finally start answering that question, or it may choose to stretch the mystery even further to keep viewers hooked for future episodes. Either way, watching how Oleksandra behaves once the search for Joe begins will likely give fans the biggest clues about her true intentions. The breakup. Is Joe's family falling apart? While all of this danger and mystery plays out in the professional world of spies and government secrets, there is another storyline quietly building in the background, and it might end up hurting just as much as anything happening in that torture room. Joe's relationship with her husband Neal and her children has been under massive pressure all season. Simple things that most families take for granted, like school trips, have turned into security operations. The kids are living under constant protection and surveillance. And that kind of pressure does not just disappear. Joe has always made her choice clear, even if she never says it out loud. Her country comes first, and her family comes second. That decision has worked for her career, but it has slowly been draining her relationship with Neal. Every time Joe walks back through the front door after another dangerous mission, it becomes a little harder for Neal to simply welcome her back with open arms like nothing happened. There is only so much fear, stress, and uncertainty one family can absorb before something breaks. Now that Joe is missing, possibly facing death, this pressure reaches its absolute peak. Even if the rescue mission works and Joe survives everything happening in this episode, the emotional damage caused by this crisis might be permanent. Neal may finally reach a breaking point where he cannot keep living this way, waiting and wondering if his wife will come home in a body bag. This is what fans mean when they talk about a possible breakup this season. It may not be a dramatic explosion of anger. It might simply be Neal quietly deciding he cannot do this anymore. And if that happens, Joe could end up winning the war against her enemies while losing the one thing she was fighting to protect the whole time, her family. To understand why this trailer hits so hard, you need to remember what happened just before it. In the last episode, Joe came up with a plan that seemed smart at the time. She convinced her bosses, Kaitlyn and Byron, to leak information to the press. The story they released said that a Russian agent had been caught on American soil, and that this agent had been secretly blackmailing important people. The whole point of this leak was simple. Joe wanted to scare the enemy. She wanted to make them panic and make mistakes, thinking the CIA already knew more than they actually did. In spy terms, this is called flushing out the hornets. You shake the nest and wait to see who flies out angry. At first, this plan looked brilliant. It was bold, it was risky, and it was very Joe. But here is the problem with poking a hornet's nest. Sometimes the hornets do not panic and run. Sometimes they attack. And that is exactly what seems to have happened here. The leak worked so well, so fast, that it may have triggered an immediate counterattack instead of giving the CIA time to prepare. By the end of the last episode, Joe was gone. Taken. And when we catch up with her, she is already tied down, already being tortured with slow dripping water, a technique designed to wear down a person's mind long before it does real damage to their body. This is what makes the setup so painful to watch. Joe was not caught by bad luck. She was caught because of her own strategy. She built the trap, and somehow she ended up walking straight into it herself. That kind of irony is what makes great television, and it is exactly why this episode has fans so nervous. The question everyone is asking now is not just who grabbed her, but whether her own plan is the reason she might not make it out alive. And that uncertainty is exactly what the new trailer is built around.